Always great to have you with us. A new episode of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie getting underway right now on EWTN Radio. Thank you, affiliates. Thank you for all of you who carry the program, the great folks, our show team, Rich, Matt, and Jeff at EWTN. And we also want to invite you to check us out on Facebook Live, EWTN Catholic Radio Facebook page. We are there. We're on the YouTube channel. And Debbie, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Today is the 7th year anniversary of my dad's passing. Today he passed 7 years ago.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, he met the Lord 7 years ago. Actually, this evening. It was about 11 o'clock at night, but still. And so it's always a bittersweet day. I mean, of course, we miss him, but, he's with his, obviously our Lord, hopefully, and his family and friends, and probably hopefully playing a great game of golf up in heaven with never any problems, never going out of bounds or anything. He's playing, on par.
Every tee shot's a hole in one, right?
Yes, exactly. I was kind of leading into that, so you would say that. But yeah, it's great to be. I'm back in Arizona, very, very hot, but it's wonderful, and we're with our listeners today, Jerry, and I'm excited about this show because I have to be really, really frank with you. I have a very definite views on this. So watch out.
Good.
Okay.
No, that's good. Today we're talking about liking people versus loving people. Is there even a difference? And is liking people just intrinsically a part of loving? We're called to love everyone as Christians, but we also know that there are those that we love deeply and those that we love in a more general sense. And then there are people who are part of our lives, kind of on the periphery, maybe at work, or people we know from the gym or other clubs or whatever, and we don't necessarily, we love them in the Christian sense, but maybe just the emotional or affective bond is more of a like of those people. But, Debbie, then there are those people that we find it even hard to like, and that's what we want to talk, one of the things we want to talk about today.
So does it make you a bad Christian if you don't like these people? If you really, you've struggled, you've prayed about it, you've tried very hard to really get to bring these people into your inner circle of friendship or even acquaintance, and you just can't do it. There's something about it that stops you. Does that make you not a good Christian? Well, let's talk about it. We want to hear from you. 1-800-585-9396. That's the number to call. You can text us. You text the letters EWTN to 55000. You wait for a response and then put your question or comment in, and we'll put it into the discussion. Because, Jerry, I think this is going to be a very, very active, vibrant discussion. Hopefully, we're all going to be changed a little bit. I'm curious to see if people are going to affirm my position or they're going to challenge it. And either way, I'm cool with it.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about what your position is.
Uh-oh.
But I'm going to remind all of you listening, the phone number, you're the ones who make the show, dear listeners, 1-800-585-9396, 1-800-585-9396. Maybe there's someone you find it difficult to like, let alone love, so we can talk about that. What do you do? Is there something that you do to actively try to find something likable in that person? Debbie, I think there's a sense that we have an obligation not to fall all over ourselves loving that person or whatever, but to recognize their dignity and their worth, and to, even if they grade us horribly and they're almost intolerable, I think we have some sense of an obligation to try to find something likable about that person. What do you think?
I do, but does that mean you have to put yourself in a situation where you are in these encounters with this person, and it doesn't make you it maybe can possibly have you sin in your thoughts or even in your actions? I mean, at what point do you...
I wouldn't say that. No.
Okay, so you draw those boundaries.
Yeah, I would just say that if you're going to have interaction with these people, then I think it's a worthwhile undertaking to really try to recognize something in them that's likable, and
Gotcha.
And that, I think, can really help us all recognize and affirm the dignity of every human person.
Gotcha. Okay, so I totally am in agreement with that. Absolutely, to find that dignity in that person, that soul, and to find that good thing. But then, at what point do you engage with that person? I think that's what I'm talking about: day-to-day relationships or encounters that you have with people that really don't don't serve you in a good way when it comes spiritually. And I think this is important. This weaves into life skills very much, Jerry. In fact, a lot of life skills trainings is about this, which is very interesting. So we want to hear from you, like Jerry said, because you drive the show. What we have to say, that's secondary to you. You are the most important person in this equation. So dial in. Don't sit it out. Don't just grab your cup of coffee or your cool drink and just say, okay, I'm going to enjoy this show. Participate. 1-800-585-9396.
What would be really great, and this does happen in life, is to hear from someone, maybe one of you who's listening right now, maybe there was someone when you met him or her, another person, you didn't particularly care for that person, and maybe you found it hard to like them. Certainly not love on a deep affective level, but as you got to know him or her, that relationship developed into a deep bond of maybe Christian love or even romantic love. Wouldn't that be something to hear something about that? And then there's the issue of teaching our kids a very valuable lesson in this as well as they grow up. That because we have so much, we hear about bullying and kids getting together in cliques and hanging out with only their friends and so forth. And again, not that they have to, all the students in the school stand around on the playground and hold hands and sing Kumbaya or anything. But I think it's an important opportunity to help our kids understand what truly loving each person means, and then even liking those that they may not have, a particular deep love for.
I would completely agree with that. And I think this is going to be a very good, healthy discussion. Also, to keep in mind that a lot of times when people irritate you, if you will, those are things that you really have to work on yourself, because it's a reflection. It's something that, remember, we're on a journey. We're on a path to God. And the way to do that is to get to the to attain holiness and to purge all those things that keep us away from God. And people will come into our lives that will cause that irritation. And that's a good thing. It could be a good thing. See, Jerry, you thought I was going to go in a negative way, but I'm actually going in a positive way, because I actually believe these people enter our lives for a very, very specific, divine, small d, purpose. Okay, stay with us. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. This is your show. Phone lines are full, so get ready. When one opens up, jump in at 1-800-585-9396.
Someone recently asked me, how do you explain that Jesus did so much for people 2,000 years ago, but doesn't now? So I asked, are you letting Him make a difference in you now? God has revealed all we need for happiness and peace, but we have to let His Word impact the way we think if it's going to make a difference in our lives. St. Paul tells us, be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Jesus told His apostles, who He knew would face tremendous trials, do not let your hearts be troubled. He wasn't inviting them to receive peace. He was commanding them to claim it. Want God's Word to make a difference in you? Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. It starts by not letting your hearts be troubled or given to fear, anxiety, negativity, and constant complaining. Fill your heart with gratitude, truth, beauty, goodness, and the things of God. Then, regardless of your circumstances, you'll see Jesus making all the difference in you. This is Chris Stefanik from RealLifeCatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
Post your intentions on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's website. To get there, just click on the bright yellow J&D logo at take2show.com. Jerry and Debbie personally reply to every prayer intention that's posted. Others will also offer you their prayer support. When there's something important you want prayers for, post it on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's site. Visit take2show.com, click on the J&D logo today.
Listen to EWTN Radio day or night. Audio on demand brings you your favorite EWTN programs, prayers, and devotionals instantly to you for free. Visit EWTNapps.com and get started today.
Hello, this is Bishop Ronald Gaynor of the Diocese of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
This is Michael Warsaw, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of EWTN.
This is Father Mitch Pacwa. Thanks for listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Always great to spend this hour with you on EWTN Radio. Jerry Usher, Debbie Georgiani. We're talking about like versus love today. Is is liking everybody, is that just sort of part of loving? I mean, we're called to love everybody as Christians. But again, there are those people that we might have a little bit of difficulty liking and wanting to be around, and that's just human nature. We're not going to love everybody on the same level. So we want to hear your takes on this topic. And Sarah, you get us started in Mansfield, Ohio, listening on Annunciation Radio. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi. So I guess I just have a comment. I never really thought about it before you guys brought up the topic, but I kind of think of like and love as two totally separate things. I think that whether or not you like something, I don't think that could be really attributed to a person. I think that every person has a certain level of your love, and kind of like what you guys were saying before about how God puts in people in your life that you don't particularly care for. It just gives you a better opportunity to show them that you love them, and it really makes you just a happier person just to be open to loving everybody.
So you're open to having, Sarah, you're open to having those people come into your life that can be, somewhat irritating, because that in a way it allows you to be Christ to them, and you're showing Christ to them. They're receiving Christ. Hopefully that will inspire them to grow closer to Christ. So it's a win-win all the way around. Am I hearing you correctly on that?
Right. And I feel like if you, other than saying, saying to somebody whether or not you like somebody, it almost puts it at a lower level, kind of just reduces them down to something less. But telling somebody that you love them, I don't know, it just kind of has a closer impact, I think.
Well, Sarah, you may be really onto something here, because when we recall the post-resurrection appearance of Jesus, when Peter had denied him 3 times, and then Jesus asks Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" Sarah, I don't know if you are aware of this, but we had it explained to us in the Holy Land by Steve Ray. Jesus uses, there are I think 4 different words for love in the ancient languages, in the Greek. And Jesus is trying to get Peter up to that highest level. He's saying, "Peter, I think it's phileo me, or do you phileo me?" And Peter replies, "Jesus, I agape you." It's a lower one. Peter can't quite get up there because of the shame and the guilt. And I'm not bringing that into it to focus on that, but simply to say that you very well may be right in that it's maybe different degrees of love versus liking versus love. Did that make any sense, what I was saying as I was hacking my head off?
Yeah, that makes really good sense. And it's a new thought to me as well, so. Yeah.
Okay, and not to stay on, I just want to make sure, Jerry, we're clear, so we don't. When Jesus was asking Peter, "Do you love me?" Agape is the strongest love.
Is
correct?
It okay?
Okay, phileo is
I don't remember which one it is, but Peter was using a different word other than Jesus.
Right. So Peter was settling for a lower status of love, and Jesus was trying to get him up to the highest level. Is that what
right?
You were?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting. See, isn't that interesting? Because could that be, Sarah, when we encounter these people that we really know that have been put into our lives for a reason? Maybe God is saying, how much can you raise that love? That's
right.
Very interesting. I never thought of it like that, Jerry. Thanks for bringing that up. Sarah, you're awesome. Thanks for weighing in on this. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
You bet. Anytime. All right, 1-800-585-9396. Talking about liking, loving, different degrees of love. How do these all fit together? And how do we really love everybody as Christ would have us love them? We're going to go to Ruth in Vero Beach, listening on Divine Mercy Radio. Hi, Ruth. You're up next on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question has to do with the type of, excuse me, I'm hacking my head off too, the type of relationship that can be achieved if you're involved in parish work, where you're expected to be a beacon of the love for your fellow parishioners and for fellow staff members. There was a book written a number of years ago by Gene Edwards, which talks about working in a church staff, and that's the place where the cross seems to show up the most. So I wondered if you could comment on that in light of what you're talking about in showing love to others, even if they rub you the wrong way.
Well, I mean, I've worked in the parish level for over 25 years, Ruth, and I think I've shared this like many times on the show. I believe in my heart of hearts that those that work in the parish community were held to a much higher standard, if you will, of
Right.
having to be Christ in the world. And the problem is that when you set those expectations so high, well, I would imagine that Satan realizes that and uses every nook and cranny to weave his way into the parish life, so just to mess things up. And it's really unfortunate, because that's why in the parish life there needs to be a lot of staff development, a lot of reflection time, a lot of retreat time, because the people that work in the parish really need to be filled. They need to have their figurative ministry cups filled, so that the excess is given over to the parish life and the health and the vibrancy of that life. And
that's a good image. That's a good image.
Right. But Ruth, it starts from the top down, because the pastor sets that bar. The pastor sets it. So the pastor needs to really, the pastor and the associate pastors and the deacons and the religious, and then the pastoral council, and then the staff, and all together, that needs to really be communicated, and that desire and goal needs to be a unified goal, not where some people are trying to do it and some aren't, because then you have these fractions that set up, and it's really difficult to have. So you know where I'm coming from, and I'm very passionate about it, Ruth. But I tell you, there are communities around the country that are doing it very well.
Well, they should somehow be made accessible to the rest of us.
Agreed.
Well, and it's frustrating, Ruth. It can be disappointing. I'm somebody who spent time in two different seminaries, and I have had lots of dealings with parishes and dioceses and archdioceses. And God bless all of the great work that's being done. But like Debbie said, we don't attribute everything to the devil and to Satan. I mean, human nature gets in there as well, and people have kind of these aspirations, and they want to kind of rise up through the chain and so forth. And you just get frustrations and difficulties. So we can definitely relate to what you might be going through, and just we'll offer prayers with you, Ruth, for whatever that situation might be, and I'm sure you're praying about it as well, and really just use it as an occasion to unite yourself more closely with Christ. And when we look at the band of followers that he gathered around him, there were a few questionable characters, if I could put it that way. But anyway, thanks, Ruth. Thanks for the call. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Ruth. We really appreciate it. God bless you. Okay, next up is Carol in Michigan, listening on Baraga Radio. Hi, Carol. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, thank you. To me, love is like a lantern that, you glow or you don't glow. And people that we like, they surround us with more light and more light. But there are people out there that have a tendency to want to put a bushel basket over us. And we have to be very careful. And we can't let that happen. And if they want to come in or they want to find out what we're all about, that's fine. Lift the basket and we'll come to you. And maybe they're afraid of a group. Maybe it should be just one-on-one.
Okay, so help me out with this, Jerry and Carol. Who are we referring to?
Well, I would say myself, is a lantern.
Okay.
And then we have many people that we like,
mm-hmm.
and those that are kind of on the periphery, but they all bring a light. And we all have this great big bonfire after a while. And then there's people that come and they don't want to contribute, They might want to take part in the fire, but they don't want to contribute anything. And after a while, that gets old. And sometimes they just don't know how to bring another lantern or a flashlight or something. And they don't know how to ask. And I think if we were to just kind of back out of the group a little bit and bring them a stick with a flame on it and say, come on, join the fire. Sometimes they don't like crowds. They'd like to help out and everything, but please don't recognize me.
Okay.
And
interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Carol. And really, I think it's a great principle that can be applied in so many different situations in life. People are different. Everyone is coming from a different emotional place, psychological place. People have different levels of comfort, as Ruth, or as Carol, as you're talking about. Even being maybe around other people, even before we get to the question of liking and loving other people, some people are just uncomfortable even around other people, especially in crowds. And so I like what you said is sort of maybe you're a part of the crowd, but you see someone who needs to be reached out to, and you maybe just step over to where that person is, and like you use the analogy, take a stick or something and help them light their little light there, and then pretty soon, because of whatever reasons they felt not part of the group, they might feel a little bit more comfortable joining in. Deb?
Yeah, no, that was fascinating. That was an interesting take on it, Carol. I was trying to imagine people in my life that have that kind of disposition, and it's interesting. You're right. I mean, some people just need that one-on-one, real hand-holding spiritual encounter. And if we can be that with that light, then all the better. I love it, Carol. I made a note. I starred your call, Carol. That's a good sign. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Carol. We're going to continue along.
Carol.
Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie talking about like versus love. Maybe not versus love, just how to like and love relate to one another in our interpersonal relationships. We're going to Mary in Ithaca, New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Mary, we're so glad you've joined us on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. How are you?
Good. Is that me I'm on?
That's you, Mary.
Okay. Well, listen, dear, I love your show, but I got to share with you, I've been in a crisis pregnancy for years now and try to help moms so they can have their babies. And I have some volunteers. Oh, how could you love her? She comes in, her hair is spiked, she's got a ring in her nose, and the language is terrible. But I try to tell my volunteers, most of the girls we see don't know what real love is. They've been used, they've been abused, and they never experienced anyone truly loving them. They don't know God, they don't know Jesus. So by loving them, no matter what, caring about them, helping them, hopefully they get a taste of real true love. Now, they can't be lovable if they don't know what real love is, and they never experienced it. So we got to help them. I know one girl I helped, and she had her baby, and I kept her. And then the guy was after her, the father. He was on drugs, and he wanted to hurt her. At 12 o'clock at night, I'm getting on a bus to go to North Carolina with the baby to see her sister, be with her. Then she wanted to. So I helped her through and through, and she said to me one time, she wrote me a letter. She says, Mary, I can't believe I put you through so much, and you still care about me. But you see, her parents were alcoholics, her siblings are. These girls don't know what real love is. We have to be like Jesus to them and love them no matter what. And remember, they're all God's children, and He loves everyone and wants each soul to come to Him. So, if we really love God, we love all His children no matter what. And how do you measure love?
True. Very true. Boy, Mary, you are totally living up to your name. I'll tell you what. Amazing. And what I'm hearing you share with all of us is that just a genuine sense of kindness. We've lost that in this world, the kindness, and that's a deep form of love, the kindness, and that's what you're extending, just this warmth to another soul, so to allow them to experience that it's a good thing to feel love or like or compassion or generosity or kindness, or it's a good thing, and you're teaching them. And wow, I hope the whole world is listening to your call right now, Mary. Thank you.
Well, and I think, Mary, too, thank you so much. I believe we have, I've said it on the show before, we have a crisis of love right now in the world. And what does the Bible say? Love God, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Then love your neighbor as yourself, okay? A proper self-love it's critical to our interpersonal relationships, our ability to love others, and I believe our ability to love God. So, Mary, you hit a home run on that one. Thanks so much for being with us on Take Two with Jerry and
Debbie. Christ is the Answer with Father John Riccardo.
John 6, verses 48 to 58. Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate the manna in the wilderness, and they died. This is the bread, meaning me. This is the bread which comes down from heaven, that a man may eat of it and never die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread which I shall give for the life of the world is my flesh. At which the Jews disputed among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? They're scandalized by this. How is it that we're not? How is it that we just hear this and go, oh yeah, I know that passage? They're just outraged and at least perplexed. Sane people, inspired teachers, wise men, prophets don't say things like this.
Hello, I'm Doug Keck, and welcome to an EWTN Bookmark Brief. I just finished interviewing Dr. Ann Hendershot on her book, Status Envy, The Politics of Catholic Higher Education. So, Ann, why don't you give us a quick synopsis of what this book is about?
Well, I wrote the book to try to let people know how we got to this place in Catholic higher education, how it is that most of the 230 Catholic colleges and universities have pretty much jettisoned their Catholic identity, and how we have just this core, this dozen or so faithful Catholic colleges. And so I was curious how we got there, and I looked at different periods in our history. Right. And so that's what I've done.
And that's what you lay out, and it's an interesting read and a long journey. Dr. Ann Hendershot's book, Status Envy, The Politics of Catholic Higher Education. Look for the entire interview coming soon here on EWTN's Bookmark, but don't wait. It's available through the EWTN Religious Catalog, EWTNRC.com. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Okay, I just had an aha moment, and during the break, it's nice to have these quick little breaks because it's amazing how the Holy Spirit works. Ruth called in from Vero Beach, and she was talking about parish life and parish community and the staff, and how and I had shared sometimes it can be fractured a bit, and these factions set up where there's these groups that, some are really wanting the best for the parish community and some are struggling. And then Carol called in. See, this is what's so beautiful, Jerry, about the Holy Spirit. Carol called in and talked about being the light and to be and have a group as a bonfire of light. And I just wanted to say back to Ruth, I hope you're listening, Ruth, because you had shared at the end, I wish other parish communities would share the good things that they're doing to help all the rest of us. Well, here's something. Apply Carol's thought process on this. If you are part of the quote-unquote light, maybe those other groups that are in the parish staff need to be reached out to one by one and to find out what really makes them, what's really driving them, what's really making them want to be part of the parish staff, and inviting them in one by one. Very interesting. I never thought of that, Jerry, because sometimes when you have these group mentalities, groups stay in groups, cliques stay in cliques. And if you do break out of that and reach out and invite them one by one, maybe something can happen of positive change. So look how our Take Two family is helping one another. They may not even realize it.
I love it. Good insight.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of invitations, Kathy, we're going to get to you, and then Joseph, hang on, please, and the others on the line. We're talking about like and love and the difference between the two and how they fit together and how they might be different. 1-800-585-9396. But again, speaking of invitations, a few months ago, Debbie and I issued an invitation on the air for if there were people who would like to give us some assistance in our ministry, get some professional hands-on experience. And we came up with an amazing group of people that are doing some intern work for Jerry and Debbie. And what we need right now, we just have really one hole to fill, and that is doing a little bit of light website maintenance. So we just want to invite, if there's anybody who would like to be part of what God is doing through us, if there's any good in that at all, if you'd like to be part of the Jerry and Debbie team, and you know WordPress, we've got all of our websites are on WordPress, 2 or 3 sites, and it's really just going in, no more than about 5 hours a week, and posting stuff and updating stuff and just making sure everything is on the up and up. We would love to hear from any and all such people who know WordPress and would like to help us out, Debbie. I think everybody is excited so far who's joined us on that.
Oh yeah, it's a great group, and so many of our wonderful internship group is coming to the Jerry and Debbie retreat in February in Cullman, Alabama. So I'm excited about that. So we'll get to be with one another and just build our friendships. Talking about liking, that's awesome because we like them already, Jerry. Now we're going to hopefully transition to really loving the whole group, which is wonderful. But the best way I believe to contact us, if you are skilled in WordPress, we really do need you kind of quickly because things are happening very fast. So it's going to be fun and exciting. Just email us at take2 at EWTN.com. Take2 at EWTN.com.
All right, very good. And we're going to go back to your calls on the like versus love question. Kathy in Plymouth, Michigan, listening on Ave Maria Radio. Hello, Kathy. You're on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie.
Hey, Jerry and Debbie. Glad to be on your program. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
I just heard my padre there, Father Ricardo. He's awesome.
Yes, isn't he good?
We are so blessed. But anyway, I digress. I do not know if I can follow up with my little pity party story from Mary's. Oh my gosh, what a woman. What a woman. But anyways, taking those troubled girls and helping them. God bless her. But anyway, my situation is I love everybody. I tend to. And when you get your feelings hurt by a friend or an acquaintance or a work associate, you think, oh, well, I'll pray for them. And, I don't have to do lunch with them, and I don't have to really hang out with them after work or whatever. Well, lately it's been my family. and I'm my mother's 24/7 caretaker. She's 87 in a wheelchair. And I was there when my dad died and helping Mom with Dad. And so the 2 sisters have been kind of coming at me like an off-color YouTube called Honey Badger. And they just don't back down, and I love them, but it's so hurtful. My little sisters kind of turn the entire family against me, even the little kids, and I miss my grandnephews. I never see them. I don't see my grandniece, and it's really hurtful. I pray for them. I pray for unity, and I just don't know where to take it. And between like and love, Father John always says, you have to forgive. We have to forgive, but we don't have to go bowling with them. We don't have to hang out with them. But this is my family, and I used to like hanging out with them, so I like them or I love them, but I don't like the way they act toward me. So got any suggestions, guys?
Well, what comes to my mind immediately is that phrase. I'm sure you've heard it, Kathy and Debbie. We can pick our friends, but not our family.
Yes.
And, Debbie, you've mentioned, that you've got some dynamics in your own family as well. And this is, I guess this is the way God intended family to be, one great saint-making machine, and, those, iron sharpens iron, and the trials and all the difficulties can certainly benefit us. But, Debbie, what would you say to Kathy in this situation?
Well, Kathy, my heart goes out to you because you said that you really did enjoy spending time with them, and that has all shifted, correct?
Yes,
yeah,
completely.
And
in
that's
fact,
go ahead.
They make my tummy upset when my sister pulls in the drive. I'm on the rare occasion that she comes and helps or visits my mom, and I just my stomach does flip flops, and I just want to run.
Right. Well, this was a great. Wise advice that a priest gave me one time about my own particular family dynamics that Jerry's referring to, because we're a very big family, Italian Catholic family, so there's a lot of strong personalities, and yes, Jerry's waving his hands on the camera. Yes, we do move our hands, and we're very, very animated and passionate. But Kathy, this priest once told me that if being around your family causes you to sin or get close to sin in any way, shape, or form, then it's not healthy. And you have to,
that's been happening.
Right, and you have to protect your spiritual health. This was advice that was given to me, so I'm just passing it on because I'm no expert on it. Believe me, I'm still working, navigating through it myself. However, I will tell you, when I turned 50, I had decided, and whether right or wrong, please, if there's a priest, call in and tell me I need to go to confession. I'll be fine with that. But I decided when I was 50 that I was no longer going to put myself in a position to walk away sinning and feeling horrible and wishing not good things on them and myself, and it was just destructive all the way around. And so I chose to step away from that circle, and it's been fabulous. I can't even begin to tell you how freeing it is. I love all of my family, love them. I don't particularly choose to want to be in the same circle because I don't feel that love when I'm in that circle. I don't feel it either way, coming towards me or going from me. And I don't particularly care for the personalities. So it's a struggle for me. So I chose out. And it's been very healthy, I think, for everybody. However, I will tell you that hasn't changed my level of love for them. I still love them. If they called and needed me in a moment's notice, of course I would go running. Of course I would. So that's how I reconciled it, Kathy. I don't know if that would ever be something that is something you feel as tightly connected to that I do, but it for me it works because I did not want to be running to confession every 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, when your Methodist mother tells you you need to get confession because you're swearing like a sailor about your sisters, it's like it is time, because and that dynamic's in there too. I'm the only Catholic in the family, and they're always saying, "Oh, you think you're so holy just because you go to mass all the time." And Father Ricardo, blah blah blah. I just listen, people. I happen to really love my head padre. He's wonderful, and I have a wonderful parish family. But so I think detaching, Debbie. I think you've hit it right on the head. You've got to detach, and I've found in my life when God helps me to realize I need to detach from a certain situation or certain people, he always replaces it with something else. I mean, always himself.
Yes.
But he replaces it with another close friendship or another, another loving moment or thing, and it just blows me away. And I want to come to Coleman in February. I've been through Coleman before.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, drop us an email. We'll add you to the list, and take 2, the number 2 at EWTN.com, because the list is growing. I mean, we're gonna pretty much max out. Hopefully, yeah. So once we release it, we're gonna actually come public, Jerry, and release all the details of it probably at the beginning of August when we firm up everything with the Abbey, the St. Bernard Abbey, and then
the website.
And the website. Yes. So.
Yeah, I'd like to help you there, but I'm electronically challenged. I would mess it up really good.
Well, we'll pray that the right person comes along, or the right couple people come along, because we're moving fast and furiously, and it's a good thing, and we want everybody on the train with us.
I want to be in the family.
You got it,
You
Kathy.
are in the family, Kathy.
Thanks, Jerry.
God bless you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, 888-318-7884. Folks, you may have never in your wildest dreams thought, I'm going to one day start a radio station. And maybe right now you feel that way. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot of hard work. It's sacrifice. It's, blood, sweat, and tears. But a lot of the work is covered for you because EWTN has been at this for a long time. And Jack Williams at EWTN, he's the head of the radio department. He can really point you to all the right directions. They've got connections with engineers and FCC attorneys. And, of course, EWTN provides the programming. So, in fact, there's a couple in my parish, Debbie, that just started what's called a low power FM. It's on the air now. We've got Catholic radio the last several months in the area here where I live. So, folks, it can be done. So contact Jack Williams at EWTN and see if maybe the Lord is calling you to start the next Catholic radio station in your area.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, next up is Joseph in Fort Wayne, Indiana, listening on Redeemer Radio. Hi, Joseph. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, Deb and Jerry.
Howdy, Joseph.
How you guys doing today?
Great. Now that you're
Great.
calling.
Oh, right.
Hey, that's my
Jerry,
line.
I was just going to say thank you, Jerry. I was going to say that's Jerry's line. I was stealing his line, Joseph. Go ahead.
Okay. Basically, a lot of times we have problems liking somebody because they did us wrong or whatever. And it was always easy for me, as years go by, I pray a lot more, but it's always been easy for me to turn the other cheek. That was one of my favorite. It got me all the way through high school, grade school, the whole 9 yards, just turn the other cheek and just lump it sometimes, like, if it's a family problem or whatever, and pray. And when I pray for an alloy, which is a strong metal, okay? Because alloy, I don't like the word alloy because it has lie in the middle of it, But yeah, that's something real quick.
Interesting. So when you pray for alloy, which is a very...
I pray to make a friend with them and make a alloy relationship, which is a lot... makes a lot stronger relationship between two people. Even if you have a friend that kind of, is kind of every now and then you might say something you don't want left out or whatever, and next thing you know, it's gossip all around where you work or whatever. And I just take, and you got to think of their good the good things. You just can't think of the faults. If you think of your faults, you'll never be able to overcome it.
Right.
Well, and Joseph, you've introduced something else to the discussion here, and that is prayer. Prayer to better love people, prayer to like those people that maybe we find a little bit unlikable or kind of grade us the wrong way. Do you find that's effective? Do you see the fruit of that in your life, the fruit of that prayer?
Oh, yes. Otherwise, I just would, but I'm not vindictive at all. And,
right.
And I try not to do any gossip, because
right.
Gossip is very easy to slip into by times, if somebody else is talking about a person and I try to change the subject, but I don't always do it because it hits me the wrong way, So then I have to go do some more prayers that night for her. Anyway.
Joseph, I love that because I how we feel about the power of prayer. So I absolutely love what you're saying. Am I safe to say that you're mainly referring to people we don't like that aren't family? Because don't you kind of think that family
yes,
changes?
Yes. Right.
Yeah, family's a little tougher sometimes.
I'm from a big family, and I had disgruntled here and there, but for the most part, we always get along very great,
Mm-hmm.
And I just lump them, It's easy. I'm trying like to redirect myself very quickly, sometimes too quick for other people.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it. You helped me today, Joseph. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Joseph. Thank you for sharing your take on this. And everyone is unique. Every person has a unique perspective on this, and that is really what Take Two is all about. The very name of the show, Take Two. We want to take another look at life and look at things like we're talking about today from the perspective of each one of you who are listening. So thanks, Joseph, for taking the time to call in. Dwayne, I'm going to get to you, but first we had an email. It says, love, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, it says, blessings from an Eastern Orthodox Christian listener. It doesn't have
very true.
The name on here, but thank you very much for getting a hold of us with that email. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. Okay, we're going to find out what Dwayne thinks about this topic in Edmonton, Alberta, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Dwayne. Welcome to Take Two.
I'm listening to a radio station waiting to get on. And
you are on now,
You're on, Dwayne.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I was just saying I'm listening to a radio station. I better get on. And here you are.
We know. We all heard it. Yeah, good. You're on, Dwayne. It's all yours.
Yeah. I was just thinking of the. I'm generally not a hateful person myself. I've always been very gentle about different things and relationships, and a lot of times, sometimes you just feel uncomfortable around people who have done things to you. And that's generally what I do. And like some people have said, you can like a person is maybe your lowest form of love, and then you start working on it from there.
Oh, interesting. So these people that make you feel uncomfortable, you find something you like, and that keeps them at that lowest form of love?
I pray for them.
Okay.
I pray that that maybe they come around, or they've done something that has pushed me to the side or something. And especially sometimes in the parish when you're working, I've had a few incidents with some people, and I'm with the Ukrainian Catholic Church, and I'm not Ukrainian. And then sometimes you get a lot of people who are very national in their outlook. If you're not Ukrainian, then you're nobody, and they don't want you around. It's a kind of attitude. And so all you have to, it's like Christ. He didn't like the Pharisees, but he didn't condemn them either. So you have to just generally take it from there and go on.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I'm taking from what you're saying, Dwayne, is, and we've talked about it a little bit on the show already, and that is we are called in charity to love everybody, to try to like everybody, but that doesn't mean there aren't moments when we don't express maybe strong feelings about what somebody is doing. You look at Jesus, for example, and you alluded to that, how he turned over the money changers' tables in the temple and all of that. Jesus was both divine and human, perfectly God and fully man, so he could not hate anyone. And yet, Debbie, we look at those actions of his, and it causes us to realize that, again, just because we are called to love everybody in charity and in the way that God does, doesn't always mean that we're going to get along.
Get irritated. Yeah, we're not going to get irritated. But I think in that irritation, there's room for spiritual growth. Whether you choose to encounter it or you choose to purposely step away to attain holiness for both. I think it's fascinating discussion today. I wish we could go on another hour, but we can't. So, Sonia, you're up next, listening in Ohio on God's Love Radio. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Sonia.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
I don't know if this is apropos, but as you were all talking, I was going back into my youth, and I remembered when I was working in a steno pool in New York City, and I remembered having a feeling that some people had a problem with me or didn't like me. I would say a prayer, and I would ask the Lord that I could go up and just be, reach out to that person, say hello to that person. And so I constantly did that. Then it turned out that one of these people who I felt had difficulty with, it turned out she became one of my best friends, and it was in my wedding party. So it was very beautiful. And now that I'm an octogenarian, and I still continue that, and I'm a pretty healthy person, and I go to keep flexible into the gym about 3 times a week. And I was at a gym for quite a while, and I had to leave that gym and go to another gym. And but when I joined that first gym, I sensed that there were some people that came in sad, or they were having a difficult day, and I would say a prayer, and I say, Lord, help me to reach out to these people, help me to get to know them, help me to be Christ to them. And before you know it, I had all these friends, and it was just beautiful. And then we had to just move over to another gym this year, my husband and I. And I walked in, and I said, oh, dear, I miss all my old friends. And then I said, the Lord was kind of reminding me, hey, reach out again. You'll make friends, and you'll be bringing the light of Jesus to other people, too. And sure enough, that's what I'm starting to do, and I'm developing friendships. And other people from the old gym have since joined this gym, and they come in one by one, and we remember each other, and it's just beautiful. It's just, and they'll say, "Oh, we remember you," and so I just feel like the Lord allowed me in my in these twilight years right now to be able to reach out, even to young people. This young fellow Joe came in the other day and said, oh, Joe, I really missed you, Joe. I haven't seen you in a few years. I said, Joe, I always remember to pray to St. Joseph for you, you know. And he says, thank you, you know. And it's just a beautiful ministry in my old age that I can even, you know, be able to do this and
Right.
to have a ministry of prayer and reaching out to people and being the light to somebody. So that's what I wanted to share.
You and Mary should get together, Sonia, because you both have that same just precious, pure heart where you are reaching out in kindness to all that you encounter. And I believe that is truly what Christ wants for all of us. That's amazing. You both of you have inspired me so much. And I hope others have been touched as well by your stories, because we can learn. Kindness goes a long way, and it is beneficial. It helps us in the long run. Love it.
Oh, thank you. Okay. God bless you all. I love your show. I really love your show.
Oh, thank you,
And I'll
Sonia.
pray for you always, okay? God bless you.
Thank you.
We'll cherish those prayers. Amazing. Sonia, you are amazing. And, people are really sometimes just all they need to be is approached and asked, how's your day going? And
Right.
that can open up something brand new in their lives. So Sandy is in near Buffalo, New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Sandy, you're next on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. How are you? Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Debbie.
Hi,
Howdy.
Sandy.
How are you?
Hi, how you doing? Sorry, I had a mouthful of food. I'm sorry about that. Yes, hi. I called because I wanted to make some comments to Kathy and people having difficult sibling relationships. I've had some difficult relationships in the past with my siblings over the years, and, you know, I stepped back from the relationships, like Debbie had said, and I found that I really found that what really worked for me was every time I got together with the difficult siblings, I tried to express some kind of maybe love for them, like when I was not to spend a whole lot of time, but let them know that I loved them when I said goodbye, or I you know, really made a comment like I appreciated something they did for my mother, you know, how hard it was. I gave them a little bit of sympathy for the trouble that they were going through. I think it kind of, you know, lifts them out of like what I want to say is like it lifts them out of themselves a little bit. Like maybe they're a little bit not feeling good about themselves, and just to let them know that, you know, I do think of them in a positive way. And I can tell you that my relationships over the years have gotten so much better, slowly, but they've gotten so much better. You know, we can stay together, we can talk together, we can be together at a party. So our relationship has gotten so much better. You know, they don't end in arguments anymore. And just giving a little bit each time that I see them or talk to them or send a text message or a birthday card.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I love
Sandy.
it.
We're running out of time, but Debbie, it's a beautiful principle. If you make if you make the first step, that can be disarming for people, and really, like we said with Sonia's call, just open up beautiful, beautiful possibilities.
Absolutely. Okay, Sandy, I'll try it. Check back with us. I'll let you know how it worked out. And pray for me. And Tina and the others, we're so sorry we could not get to you. Mike had an interesting take. Please email us, Mike, at take2@EWTN.com. We got another show planned for you tomorrow.
Yeah, we do. And again, Debbie and I are looking for some enthusiastic people who would like to help us a very, very light amount of internship work on WordPress websites. So if that's you, email us at take2@EWTN.com. Take2@EWTN.com. Until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed day. We'll see you then.